Oh my goodness. Hello, hello. It's been forever since I've done a live. It's so funny. Every time I press that live button, I feel like I have a full body experience. I'm still very much a rookie at pressing this live button and showing up in this format. So, Becky teaches. Hey, Tracy. Oh my goodness. I've missed you. I missed you, friend. I'm so glad you're on here. I want to talk about resistance today because I'm experiencing a lot of that. And Becky says that when you're resisting something, to inquire. And that's exactly what I've done today. And I want to talk about it. So I am in the process of creating my very first online program, a paid program at that. And I'm noticing that as I'm going to write and think about the language that I want to use, I was drawing back. And I'm like, why? You know, I'm so excited about this new offering. Why the hell am I resisting so much? And so in my past, resistance would close me off, and I would literally stop what I was doing and think that was a message from my body telling me, oh, maybe it's not something that you're ready for, or maybe it's not the right time. And if this was truly something that was supposed to go on now, then why doesn't it feel good? And why aren't I, hey, Becky, why aren't I excited about moving forward? Becky, I'm talking about resistance. And, yes, that's what I'm talking about. I've got such freaking ADD, so I'm going to just try to stay focused. And so in the past, resistance would close me down, and I wouldn't even inquire as to why the hell I was having resistance. I would just shut right down and look at it as evidence that it's just what it's not meant to be. So I tracked that storyline. And it was so fucking interesting what I came up with. And this is not a victim story. This is just an observation. So I'm just going to share it how I feel it. So when I inquired into, thank you, love. Thank you about saying my hair looks awesome. So when I inquired deeper around why the hell I was resisting so much, I came up with, I hired a coach before I knew Becky a few years back, who was very successful on the online business world. And that was like my far-fetched big dream goal of where I wanted to bring my work. I felt like I wanted to make a greater impact, and I wanted to travel with my tools. And so online platform seemed to be like the thing that I really wanted to move forward in. But I wasn't quite ready for that leap. I was sort of just playing with that idea. And I was working on some in-person workshops, and I showed that coach my content. And I tend to use language more on the, I don't know, people call it woo-woo side or spiritual side, because I work with the practical and I work with the magical. It just goes hand in hand with me. I don't believe in that you can have one without the other, and that's what I teach, and I like to own what I teach. So I was really back then practicing just even using that language and using my voice. And that coach suggested, when I shared my content with her, that I needed to tame down my language. And I needed to tame down that language to attract more of the masses, per se. And so I did. I friggin' tamed down my language, the very frigging thing that I was trying to not convey. I really want to talk about, unleashing your authentic voice and being all you can be. And meanwhile, this coach was saying, well, if you're using language like sacred or magical or divine, it's not going to reach the people that don't speak that language. And I trusted that because I thought, well, maybe she's right. Maybe she knows better than I did. A couple of years ago, maybe I wasn't as empowered. Maybe you should send her a thank you note. Yeah. Sometimes the best teachers are the teachers on how not to be, Becky. This is what I'm learning. So that was one of the things that I started to do. I actually listened to her in the beginning, Becky, and I was taming down my language, and I was I was fucking diluting my message is what happened. And I noticed that the people that I started to attract weren't my ideal clients, because of course, why would they be my ideal clients if I'm taming my own essence to match somebody that doesn't speak my language? It was just crazy. Like, but I kept, oh my God, that's the biggest takeaway, Becky. Yes, she did teach me to trust myself, but I tend to, I fell way back in that lesson, and I stopped what I was doing for about a year. I have to work my recovery time, but that's another story. The other thing she did was I expressed the interest in going bigger and expanding my vision and expanding my impact. And she offered the feedback that, whoa, you need to also pull that back, and you need to do many more in-person events so you have the capital to go forth and go online, to bring your vision online, and claimed, as an expert in her field, that it was very, very, very expensive to maintain an online platform, and that many people, she has coached many people that have gone down because of that. So like, it was incredible that she was like speaking the very same language that I was in fear over. Like, I totally believe that fucking story, and I chose not to go online until I met Becky. And, it's funny how the universe, I can't read and like talk. I have to work on this whole online thing. Let me just pause here and read. I have to go watch something. So then you can learn about emotional intelligence. Yes. All this is so good. So, yeah, it really taught me about trusting myself. And it also taught me about not believing what you're told if it doesn't align with your mission. And it doesn't, just because somebody is more experienced in one area doesn't mean that it necessarily aligns to your vision and your goals. And, I'm really proud of myself. Thank you, Becky, for teaching these tools. And thank you, Becky, for never, ever telling me to fucking suppress my message. And, you ended up showing up in my life. I wasn't looking for a coach anymore because, quite frankly, I was deflated. And I believe those storylines, and you popped up on my news feed, swearing your ass off and showing up with your message. And I was just thinking, my God, if this woman can show up saying the fuck word like a sailor every couple of seconds, then, I can certainly talk about, fire walking and, practical magic and all of the things that truly light me up, because it's worked in my life. And it took me a long time to kind of nurse back my voice and trust that my message doesn't need to be diluted. It does not need to be diluted, and that I get to inquire on what feels good. And that even means that I get to inquire on the people that are coaching me and mentoring me, because it's important that my coach and my mentor practice what they preach. And that doesn't mean that you're not fucking human and you don't make mistakes, but you're certainly never telling me to make myself small and to fit into a box so I can appease the masses, and that my woo-woo talk is just way too much, because quite frankly, I believe in that. And I no longer want to suppress my voice, and I no longer want to fall off the wagon either this long and really go down the downward spiral of feeling super deflated. So I'm so grateful for these tools that you teach, Becky. I love you so much. I love the tribe that you've created. I love that you walk your talk, and I love that you show up when it's even fucking hard. And I just want to keep going. So I wanted to share that. It's not that resistance is going to stop. I don't believe in this process, but it's not going to stop me for long. And the difference is that I am going to inquire, and it's not going to throw me off the friggin' wagon for 6 months, or even, I'm not going to even allow it to take my power away for any length of time. Let me inquire about it, undo that story, figure the shit out, and then move forward. And I probably wouldn't have been able to do that had you not come into my life. And I'm super, super grateful for you, Becky. I honor you, and I get emotional because I truly believe that you bring so much radiance and you bring so much truth to your platform that just inspires people more and more and more to show up as they are. And honestly, when it boils down to it in this life, I think that's all people want, is more permission to be who they are. Okay? And thank you for giving me the permission slip that I wasn't able to grant myself. I love you, and thank you. Mwah. Thank you all for tuning on here and listening to this message. So much love.